Hello and welcome back, as we're going to continue now with our sample 1 to enter the first session for sample 1. Now, it could be that you've chosen to work with paper measures, in which case you will be retrospectively entering the information, or it could be that you're choosing to work with electronic system only. For example, you've got a laptop in the room with you, you've got an iPad, some sort of tablet or whatever. So that will change when, obviously, at what point you're going to come to enter this first session for the client. What I'm going to do in this first example is retrospectively enter the data. So this is a client who's had treatment a little while ago for their first session. So they've been, let's say, 2 weeks ago, and you're now entering the data. I wouldn't recommend this as an ongoing way to do it. I'd recommend that you enter the data, if you're doing it retrospectively, on the day that you've done it, while it's all fresh in your mind and you're not allowing an accumulation of material to build up for you to be entering. But of course you'll find your own way of doing that. Okay, so we simply go click to add new session, and the first session will always be an assessment session. There's no other choice because obviously it's the first session with the client. So let's say the client actually came on the 1st of December 2013. Again, you have a place here to make notes if you wish to do so about that session. Now you'll see that when you set up the client in profile, you already chose some measures to use with that client, and you can see that they're all in here already. So the PRN15 and the Core 10 were chosen, so that is that. You simply create that session. As soon as you've created that session, you have the ability then to choose whether the client has attended the session. So as we're doing this retrospectively, let's assume they've attended the session. And then down here, you've got where you're going to populate from the paper measures you've used, if you're doing it in paper format. At the next session that we add, I'll show you how to do it by either email invitation to the client or simply opening the client questionnaire in the office when they're there with you. But for now, let's imagine that we're doing it from paper. So you have your paper PRN15 that was filled in by your client. Now you're going to transfer that information into the system. So you simply click on the drop down and all of your questions are available here, and you can simply transfer the information in from the measure. I'm just selecting here. You'll notice that there's a little flash after each one while the system is saving, and you'll also notice that this is date and time stamped as to the time you've actually put the information in. So you just scroll on down and make sure you've answered all of the questions. I'm just going back up here to ensure that they're all selected. Yeah, and what you see at the top now is that score has been added up here, and that one's taken care of. And then we go down to the Core 10, and in the same way we populate the Core 10 and choose the answers the client has chosen. Talking to people has felt too much for me, felt panic or terror, made plans to end my life, hopefully not at all, felt unhappy often, and unwanted images are often there. Okay, so now we've populated that, and that is simply that. Now, if at the end of that session you've given a feedback measure to the client right there in the room with you, you can go down to that feedback measure then as soon as the client has left you, and you can populate that section as well. So for heard, understood on the issues that mattered, very helpful, overall very happy. Now it's important down here, if the client has not added anything in that free text field, that you just put some character in there in order that this scoring will come up on the chart. So you'll see there's a note here, please feel free to write in the box. If there's no comment, write N. Now I'm assuming that all of this information has been captured in paper format for now. And then we simply click Close.